Perfect. Okay. Welcome to Agent Content Creators. I have a special guest today, Matt Bogosian, out of Nashville. We met last week at Sharon Srivatsa's Buyer Mastery class, which is actually being redone again in, I keep saying Detroit, in Dallas, March 19th. I highly recommend, I put it in the chat here, and then when I put this on the replay, I will also put it in there. I highly recommend that you go to this mastery class. If you are working with buyers in any capacity, yes, even you, Raj, who are doing just new construction at the moment, mainly new construction, I highly recommend you go to this class. Matt will probably agree it was worth every single penny. I am going to be buying a bunch of tickets for agents, and also Marissa and I are in the process of putting together a pre-day event. We're going to do a video mastery event in the afternoon with a happy hour. We're in the process of getting that set up right now. We did a YouTube class in Dallas a couple months ago, and people loved it. So we'll break it up to not just be YouTube, but also in the future, I'm going to have on this channel, on these Friday events here, I will have going forward. Corey is going to come back. Corey was here in Austin yesterday talking about Instagram. Corey crushed it talking about Instagram and what he's doing, 152,000 followers. We're going to have him maybe next week or the week after, but keep showing up 10 o'clock on Fridays. We're going to do this event. Matt Bogosian out of Nashville. While you intro yourself and tell people about your channel, I'm going to pull it up on the side here. Matt Bogosian out of Nashville. His numbers are impressive. For a single agent still editing himself, doing this by himself, this guy is absolutely crushing it. Matt, welcome.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, guys. So I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. I live just kind of south of Nashville, and I got into real estate in 2017. And I really had my back up against the wall because I was with a large company and I was miserable. So I was like, all right, I got to replace my income and be successful. So I really started doing video on Facebook. I would just do like buyer tips and just little things like that. I might like show a house real quick. And then around, I think it was 2019, I was like, wow, there's this YouTube place. I'll just post my videos in there too. And that's when I just got started. And I was looking at my numbers. I'm not the type of person, I didn't even know my numbers for the most part, guys. I had to look these up this morning, but just to give you an idea. So like in 2020, I did 10 million. 21, that jumped up to 19 million, and 26 of those were buyers. So that's when like 2020, 2021 is where I really started to see some traction. 22, 35 million and 34 buyers. And then last year, you guys know the market just kind of tanked and I did about 18 million. So I was talking to Jeremy and I'm like, man, I don't want to babble on about me and about my life. So I kind of came up with 10 different things that I've learned over the years that I wanted to share with you guys. And a lot of these I learned from asking my clients why they called me. I mean, that's something I do all the time now, and I'm getting some of the same answers from them. So now I'm like, okay, I think I can legitimately share this and know that this stuff works.
Let me ask a couple, before you do that, let me ask you a couple quick questions. So you went from starting this channel, it looks like it took a couple years to really take off. What do you think was the content early that people started resonating with that you were starting to get calls from?
I think, that's that's gonna go into my first tip. When I started getting out into the community and getting out from behind my desk, that's really when I felt like people were like, whoa, like when I was standing in front of a house and when I was showing people stuff out in the community, I felt like that's really when I started to get traction.
Okay, so being out in the community definitely helps. That's something that I'm now moving a little bit more towards, is is doing more out in the community stuff, and that's partly because I've done a lot of stagnant posts in front of this screen you see behind me, and it does very well for information. But one day I had a client who was like, "Yeah, I thought you didn't get out. You just were," because I said, "Well, if you want information about this neighborhood, I got to go out there, meet with the builders, do all this stuff." And they're like, "Well, we thought you just did it in front of your green screen." I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
sense." So for you, it was being out in front of homes and showcasing neighborhoods. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Okay.
even mix it up. I would do like every now and then I'll do a restaurant like tour and I'll do something like that. I haven't done a ton of those, but mountain biking. I know that kind of sounds weird, but like I've kind of experimented with different stuff. So like mountain biking was one thing I tried where I was like, hey, I want to show you guys the community. I mountain bike. Let me show you this trail. And I would talk about real estate while I mountain biked. And
Nice.
I was like, let me see how this does. And it was crazy. I was getting calls and people were like, hey, I mountain bike and I'm going to be buying a house in Nashville. I was like, what?
I think that's really important because I think everyone sees like my channel, 15,000 subscribers, and they go, okay, I can't do that. You're at about 3,000 subscribers around there, real close to there, and you're closing 18,000 in a down market last year. Raj did like around that or a little bit more last year in a down market as well. And he does property tours, just out and about on property tours, and he only works a specific market. So the niching down actually helps you specify and get to those people. Now, let me ask you, working with people that mountain bike that are your same speed, do you think it helps that you niche down and talk about the things you're into because those people are on your level and easier to work with? What are the leads look like for that?
Oh my gosh. It's made the job or this career so fun for me because the people that are calling me are just like me. Like they're the same type of people. They enjoy my sense of humor. They enjoy a lot of the same hobbies. Like they're guys that are into like cars and garages. And, I also ride around on a dual sport motorcycle and do tours I put the GoPro on my chin and I just talk about the area while I ride around. So I'm getting guys that ride motorcycles. So it's made this so enjoyable for me because I'm getting these people that call that are the same as me. I mean, it is just awesome. It's been so fun. Yeah, that's one I did the other day. Oh, I can't hear you.
How do you have that set up in your car?
So that right there, I've experimented with a lot of different cameras and different setups. That's actually a DJI Pocket 3, and I have it on a what am I trying to say here? A stand where I've got two legs on the floor and then one leg on the seat of my car. So yeah, that worked pretty well. I mean, and then that's a DJI um Action 4 on the hood of my truck.
Yeah, so very similar to GoPro. I
Yep.
like this because as a consumer, what I like about doing these events and putting on these events is you get to see how different people do it differently. Like my talking head videos aren't going to be for everybody. This is super easy to do. It's two cameras, and all you're doing is driving through a neighborhood. You're talking. I can look at you. I can see what you're talking about. The editing part of this is going to be the challenging part. But if you give this to an editor somewhere, they can do it really easily. And I love how you're not really selling very much. It's like you'll pop up your phone number, but you're not
Yep.
selling. You were like, I didn't really give the audio on this when we came in, but it was you basically talking about what you were going to be talking about instead of like selling, hey, I'm Matt Bogosian, give me a call. And I think that's the number one no I tell everyone to do is stop selling. So I love this style. Can you tell me more about other styles of videos that have worked for you?
Yeah, yeah. And I do want to touch on like with this. I was telling you, I've got a videographer that I hired and an editor that's coming in, but I really do think like the video I just did if is so simple to shoot. You guys should learn to edit that. That is so easy to edit. I'm telling you, like, and that's fine if you have all the money and you can figure out how to send it to somebody. But like that took me no time to edit, and it's really simple to do. You can do it. I mean, CapCut. You could do it on CapCut nowadays. So I say that because I think you guys, a lot of people get stuck where they don't know what to do moving forward as far as editing, and then they don't know who to call. Some of that's pretty easy. So different styles so that have worked. So this here is in my office, and I try to switch it up a little bit. You know, like you said, you've done a lot of talking head. I try to kind of mix it up as much as possible. I don't think I'm as good at talking head, so it's something I want to work on this year.
Yeah, what I notice about your talking head, which is different than mine, is what I've tried to do with mine is do where it's really very little of my face and more about what we're talking about. So it's a ton of B-roll. Yours is more zoom cuts and jump cuts a little bit. And so what I mean is like really simple to do when you're editing these videos is a zoom in and a zoom out. It's really not that hard to do that. Anyway, if you have more questions, drop in the chat as we'll go through, but Matt did have 10 things that he wanted to talk about. So if you want to quickly go through the top 10 list of like what helped you, we'll go through there and we'll answer some questions. I want to make sure we keep this under 45 minutes that we can really get some good questions. So go ahead,
Yeah.
man.
And jump in, Jeremy, if you want to like say something. So the
Please. Yeah.
first thing, guys, like be authentic, be yourself, like dress how you dress, talk how you talk. I mean, don't it gets really uncomfortable if you try to be somebody else on video. It's not easy to do that. Like just be yourself. I mean, shoot in your office. Don't try to get too crazy about being someone else. It's just be authentic. If in that video that he showed where I was driving, I said clubhouse, like I said it wrong. I don't know why. I was like nervous or something. I didn't cut that out. I just I just went back and said clubhouse. I was like, why did I say it like that? And I just kept going. And I think that adds what I'm hearing from my clients is like, hey man, we called you because you seem real and you seem authentic. So for me, that's like number one. Number one. I want to say too, Jeremy, sorry, I know you're about to talk. On your videos where you're the three amigos, like I watch those and I'm like, man, this guy just comes across as a normal guy. Like you're talking how you talk.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important what you're saying for this number one topic. I think agents, when they jump onto YouTube, they think they need to be somebody else or they need to be uber professional or what. Like, look, if you're not the most professional person, who cares? Don't be the most professional. If you're going to have F-bombs, however you're going to talk to your clients is how you should be talking on video. 100% agree. Now, look, you don't want to say things that purposely alienate people, right? You don't want to say things like, you obviously don't want to go super political unless that's what you're wanting to go for, then go for it. But being yourself, dude, the best thing, and what you said earlier, my very first YouTube client came to me and they got out of the car and I shit you not, they go, Jeremy Knight, our favorite
Yeah.
Austin realtor. And this is the first time I met them. Right. And that
Yeah.
happens a lot. Raj in his videos likes to say, I may not be the realtor for you. So when they meet Raj, they go, we don't know. Right. We just don't know.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Raj. I love the poke Raj, man. That guy's crushing. So anyway, so to step two, what do you think your number two is?
Number two, we already touched on this. So real quick, just experiment with getting out from behind the desk. Like go, it doesn't have to be in front of houses. Just like get out somewhere and show people the area. They want to see the area. They really do. And if you can be the agent that's out there showing them the area, who cares? Just take your camera, your phone, and just be like, hey, this is downtown Nashville. This is 12 South. It's really cool. Blah, blah, blah. And then point it to you and say, give me a call. So that's my number two.
All right.
Number three.
Number three. Sorry. I'm trying to help lead you into each one. So we're making fun content here. But yeah, number
Yeah,
three, go for it.
yeah. Number three, take a stance on something. Have an opinion on something, anything. Like if a house is ugly, say it. If the neighborhood sucks, say it. Like take a stance. Like too many people try to play it safe all the time and they don't want to take a stance. And it can be a minor stance, but like give your opinion on the market. Don't just say it's always a good time to buy or sell. Don't be that person.
That, when I give my talks about YouTube, the second slide is always, why are we doing video? It's trust. And I think if you're not taking a stand on something, then you're not really showing people how you feel. You're still coming off as a salesperson, right? We're always taught to be selling, selling, selling. You hit the nail on the head. I agree with you 100%. Don't be controversial, but just say like, I don't like this. Here's why you may not like it, right? Maybe instead of saying, I don't like this, here's why you may not like this, right? That way it's not really you. You're putting it on them why they may not like it, right? Here's why you may like this. I love that, man.
Yeah.
Again, if you have questions, keep popping them in and I'll pose the questions, but let's hear your number four.
All right. Number four, be opportunistic with your videos. And what I mean by that, when I was out there filming that retirement community video, I actually went out there to the model home because I had someone that called me and I needed to find out what was available. I was there. I brought my shit. I did a quick video. It took me like 14 minutes. Boom, video done. I meet with clients. I met with clients to do a new home purchase a couple weeks ago. They left. I went to the agent and said, hey, can I do a quick model home tour? She said, yes. Like, be opportunistic. Like, do videos when you can. Try to think ahead of time and fit them in.
Yeah, I like that. One thing I always talk about is having your content buckets, right? And so if one of your buckets is new construction or neighborhoods and you're out showing, be opportunistic and just take advantage of it while you can. I started a third channel, kind of similar to what Raj does, really good stuff Raj does. And I went to a property tour where it was put on by Platinum Top 50 here in Austin. And I literally grabbed my camera and everybody knew what I was doing. It was great as I was talking smack about realtors as I walked through, like, oh, there's another realtor. Realtors are everywhere. People love that because I'm joking about our profession as well. So anyway, so I love that one. Top number five. What do you got?
Number five. All right. Some of you might just shake your head and say no, but when I got into video, I also got passionate about it. I got like passionate about learning about cameras. I got passionate about learning about audio, about learning about editing. I got passionate about watching YouTube. Like it's my thing. Like yes, you do need to outsource it, but I do think you need to have an understanding of things like aperture and shutter speed and like all that in lighting and getting audio and peaks and gain and all that stuff. Like it made my relationship when I went and met with this videographer the other day. We just meshed because he was explaining things and I understood lighting and where I needed to stand and talk. And I'm into it. That's just what I'm saying. I'm into it. It's a passion of mine. I love it. I like to look good on camera. I love when I get a good setup and it sounds awesome. So I don't know. If you want to do it, I think you should also have some kind of passion for it as well.
Yeah, I think the most important thing you got to learn, right, is you can easily grab a pretty inexpensive camera and do this. It's just having really good audio. So I recommend, and you probably I still use the DJI audio. So it's the one you can clip on and it stays on your camera. I use the Rode Go 2 or the Rode Go and then the Rode Go 2. A lot of times I shoot with this camera right here, which is more of I've used this camera for my streaming, but it's a Sony VZE-10.
Yep.
Super easy, durable. Literally, you can set it on automatic and it'll do everything for you. But yeah, you're right. The problem I run into a lot of times is like if I overexpose, underexpose, sometimes my editor might just go with whatever I gave them and it looks like crap at the end. So you got to know a little bit about what you're doing, but that's also why you're in communities like this, right? Or communities. So I would highly recommend you get into a community that is set up for filming, set up for this, right? There's Facebook groups, there's tons of groups here at our brokerage, but there's lots of different ways you can do this. Get into a community that's going to show you how to do this and watch these videos. Question about community. Did you get into the YouTube, what is it? A YouTube real estate mastermind group? It's Christina and Malcolm's group. Were you ever in there?
I was in there for a while on Facebook. I did take Malcolm's course a while
Good.
back.
Okay.
That's another thing. I've taken so many courses for YouTube and video. There's this guy, David Storch and Abby something. They sell a course called like Crushing It on Camera, and it's how to speak on camera. I mean, I bought that course for $5,000 over the years, and I'm still like not happy with how I speak and look on camera. And I'm still like, all right, I need to figure this out. But I've definitely invested in it. I mean, I've bought courses and they're so worth it because you have these people that have already done it and they're just like Malcolm's. I mean, he just laid it all out right there. It was awesome.
Yeah, Will Draper and I have one coming out soon. I keep dangling that carrot. We're waiting on some editing to come back on it. So, but yeah, I think it's important to surround yourself with the community. Some of those trainings I think can be a little ridiculous, right? Like the cost of them. Somebody just reached out to me about a company they hired that did all the training for them, did everything. Now they're doing the editing for them, and the editing is taking forever to come back. So I think it's really important to do a little bit of research on whoever you're going to buy for a course. I know Christina, I think, has one now. Malcolm has one now, or has one. What's her name? Karen Carr has one. I think the best book you can buy is the Daryl Eves book and read that. So that's a really, really good book. If you were to ask me right now, besides the course I have coming out, if you were to ask me which one to use, I would grab Daryl Eves' book, read that, and then figure out where you need to go after that. You know, Matt did one where, you know, to help him speak on camera. And he still hates how he speaks on camera, which is amazing. So the reality is it doesn't matter how you feel you look. Yeah, the YouTube formula, Marissa's showing it there. It doesn't matter how you look because for a guy that didn't like how he looked and sound on camera, 30 million a year ago, 18 million in a down market.
Yeah.
So it pays to do the videos. Don't be afraid of how you look. Get on camera. All right, let's go to number 6.
Number 6, use these videos as ways for you to learn and become more of an expert about your area. So I had never been in that 55 plus retirement community that I did the other day. I don't know why. It's like, it's in an area I just don't, it's not even that far from me, but I just don't go down that road a lot. So I did a complete drive through. I went in and talked to the people in the model home while I was there. And now I know about it. Like not only did I knock out a video where it's okay. I don't expect it to go viral or anything like that. My stuff is more search based. People will find me by searching, but I also learned about it. So when someone asks me where there's a Dell Web 55 plus community, I know about it and I know that it's awesome and I can tell them about it and speak confidently about that. So just use your content. If you need some motivation, if you want to be more of an expert in your area, use that as an excuse to make videos.
Yeah, that's tough. I think a lot of people are afraid to get out, you know, like it's so much easier to sit behind a computer and post stuff on social media, but you got to get out and do it too. It's a really good tip. What's your next one?
The next one, and I started doing this a lot lately. I mentioned this when we first jumped on. I am practicing my video in Instagram stories. So I'm going into Instagram stories and I'm doing these little tidbits whenever I have some idea, whatever I want to say. And what I'm trying to do is sound and look and just be more conversational. Like I look like I'm talking to a person and not a camera. So I'm really trying to focus on that. And that's kind of circles back to how I said I don't really like how I sound on camera. I think maybe it's just how I feel when I'm talking to the camera. Maybe some people don't see it. So I'm just practicing in the stories. It's an easy spot place to go. Nobody, if you don't like it, delete it, but like it goes away anyways. And it also is like keeping me like fine-tuned in between my long form stuff. It's like keeping me warm. So then I'm not as like, oh crap, I hadn't seen a camera in a week. Oh, now I'm kind of still in it.
Do you think a lot of people are just afraid to be on camera?
I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people, what I've learned over the years, first of all, you grab a cell phone. If you have a certain interior of your car and the lights shining through, you can look pretty bad. And that can stop you from wanting to make a video when you really don't look that bad. It's just the dang lighting and the reflections. I was telling someone that the other day. I bought this F-150 King Ranch and it's got this brown interior. Dude, oh my God, you should see. I look so good in there when I do videos now. It's like the light is like golden brown bouncing off the seats. And before I had a black and no, I had a tan interior and I looked so bad in that. I was almost like I would do a video in my truck and I was like, man, Matt, maybe you shouldn't even be on camera. So I think people like maybe get a glimpse of themselves in like some bad light situation, and then they're just like, oh, hell no, not doing that.
Yeah, Marissa in the chat saying she needs a new car. I think Marissa, if you get a Porsche, that'll help. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Dude, brown interior. Oh my gosh, it really looks good.
so I have a question on that. So, as far as when you're filming, what are some of the techniques that you use to like create a better background? Like let me rephrase that. What are the things you're doing to try to create like good distance behind you, or what's a good shot or what's a bad shot for you?
Yeah. That's a good, like, I do try to pay attention to what's behind me. So like I don't want the sun behind me ever because then it's like, you guys know it's coming in and then my face gets dark and I don't, it's tough to shoot during the day when the sun's right in your face also. So I'm always kind of the sun. Like I've had this running joke where I'm like, man, I cannot beat the sun. Like I've been trying for years. Um, so so there's that. I try
Okay.
not to ever shoot like I try to make sure my head right now I'm a little bit high, but I try to make sure my head is like framed well. I don't know if you guys have heard of the rule of thirds at all.
Yes, explain that. I think people need to hear it.
Yeah, so the rule of thirds just says like that you need to break the screen down into so there's two vertical lines and then you've got these vertical lines here a third way of the way down. I know you guys can't see my fingers, I'm sorry. And then there's these points where the lines cross and basically the rule of thirds states like it's best if you can keep yourself either along those horizontal lines or where the lines intersect. And so when I'm framing a shot, a lot of times I'll think of that and say, okay, how can I try to make sure I meet that and make sure that my face, that people can see my face and it's clear. And
Yeah, Tim Macy used to hit me all the time, dude, what are you doing? Because like I'd be like in the shot like this, like he's like, you're driving me crazy. Learn the rule of thirds. And so finally I learned the rule of thirds, and now everything is a lot better framed. So cool.
yeah,
All right,
I
what's your next? I want to get through your list. I think we're on
okay,
7, right?
okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So next one, learn about how to like figure out key words and key phrases. So I've gone through a bunch of different softwares and apps. Everyone knows there's like vidIQ that can help you, TubeBuddy, and then there's a Chrome add-on called Keywords Everywhere.
Mm.
I've found that to really be the most helpful. So like once you put that I don't know what it's called. Is it an add-on or a Chrome widget or something?
Yeah,
What?
it's a Chrome add-on.
Okay.
I have
Once
I have it too.
you do have it, yeah.
Yeah.
So like if I type in retirement community in Spring Hill, in the Google search bar and then hit enter, keywords everywhere will populate all these other keyword phrases on the right side of your browser. And it will tell you how many times they're getting searched a month. So basically, when I did that video, I'll look and I'll do like retirement community in Tennessee or in Spring Hill was my first one. And then I looked down and I saw all these other phrases that people were searching, and I incorporated those into my tags in YouTube and into my description and a little bit in my title. I'm not saying it doesn't always work. So you like kind of be careful. You have to do some exploring and try, but learn about keywords and tags and key phrases. It's important.
You know, one thing you to do too is just look on YouTube and see what's trending for real estate too. Like especially in your For You page, if you click around, you'll find what people are posting. There was an agent who I saw one of her new construction videos blew up like crazy, and I was like, okay, I haven't done new construction in a while. New construction was on my 4 bucket list. Let me do a new construction video right now, and that thing went and just took off. I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to go back to doing new construction again. So pay attention to what's working for other agents too, right? Look at Matt's channel, see what's working there. Look at Raj's channel, see what's working there. Obviously, Raj does a very niche type of content, but look and see what's working. Like what titles are working, what thumbnails are working. I think it's really important to follow other agents, but not copy them. And it's good too. Like I like to look at Matt's stuff and I go, oh man, you know what? I can incorporate more driving around. I think that would be good for my channel. I think my audience would like that. So, but you don't want to copy either, because again, going back to his first thing, be you. If you're never in your car, then don't do it. But if you're like at Raj and the only place you go is Chick-fil-A, and don't post that you're at Chick-fil-A all day, right? That's part of Raj's talk. Sorry, it's inside joke now. All right, what's number 8?
All right, 8. Views and subscribers matter, but they also don't. So I originally started my channel and I was really trying to niche down to this small town called Thompson's Station, Tennessee, and it was where I lived. Not a lot of people search Thompson's Station. You're like, I wasn't going to get a lot of subscribers and views, but I got 10 calls. I got 12 calls, and they just called me and said, hey, I want to buy a house. So like, this is a tough one for me, and I still battle with this. I've only got 3,000 subscribers, and I'm selling all this real estate, and everybody's calling me. And it can be a little bit like mentally like, oh man, my channel's not doing well. Like you still want that love, right? You want those likes, you want those subscribers, and it can kind of wear on you. And you have to try to like set that aside. Like we're YouTubers, but we're not really YouTubers. We're real estate agents. And I don't mean that like we're not gonna be Mr. Beast blowing up. I mean, maybe you might have some kind of channel and you're gonna do that separately. It depends on your content, but like most likely not. So like you have to try to just keep that separate and realize, you know, it's gonna take a while. You're probably not gonna get a ton of viewers and subscribers. I still battle that though, honestly. Like it hurts my feelings that I only have 3,000 subscribers and whatever. I mean, I'm making money, right? So it's fine.
Yeah, interesting. Lauren Clark, I can see her here in the chat, or not in the chat, but I can see her. Lauren's in my area, Dripping Springs, and she's hyper focused on Dripping Springs. I think it's amazing to be hyper focused on that area. So her channel's slow. I haven't looked at it, so I'd imagine it's slowly growing because it's a smaller niche area. But I imagine as those calls start coming in, they're going to be like, I love you, Lauren. You're the only one that talks about the things I care about in Dripping Springs. And those are going to be amazing clients. So, you know, Raj only wants to work in one specific area. In fact, he refers off a good piece of his business because he doesn't want to drive around all town like every agent, you know. So I think it's really important. You can talk about big topics, right? Big areas, but then also have a video that's niche down. If that video doesn't do well, no worries. It's okay. Big topics, niche down, big topics, niche down. And that way people, when they're finding those videos, will find you where they want to be. And they're only going to call you. Rod Alawan, him and I've helped him so much on his channel. I think he's only at the same thing as you, 3,000 subscribers, only wants to work New Braunfels, 18 million last year. Again, in a down market, only wants New Braunfels. The next town over, which is 10 minutes away, he called me the other day. He's like, do you want this referral? It's 10 minutes away. He doesn't want to work it.
Yeah.
And so that's the beauty of being able to niche down a little bit too. So I think this is a really, really good point. You know, get 1,000 subscribers and you'll be very happy with 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah. It's just a slow process.
Yeah.
So,
so what are we at? Number 9 now?
Number 9.
Okay.
Number 9. Look at different YouTube channels outside of our industry for like to try to maybe get a little creative juices flowing. So like the number 1 guy, go back and watch Casey Neistat vlogs. This guy is a vlogger out of New York City. Your mind will be blown. His name is Casey Neistat, Neistat. Dude is the most creative guy I've like ever seen. And there's another guy, Peter McKinnon. He's out of Canada, a photographer, videographer. I regularly try to find other YouTube guys and watch them to try to those guys are so pro and so good at it that if you can just pick up like a little thing from them, you'll look like a champ if you incorporate it into your video. So
yeah, that is a killer point. You know, my talking head style came from watching during the pandemic or right before the pandemic, watching commentators. And I was like, man, I'm not creative, but I know I can sit and talk about a topic because I am out all the time. I am hearing what buyers are saying. I am hearing what sellers are saying. So I can talk about those things. So that's how I'm going to go with my channel. And it came from watching other talking heads. And that's why my style is more talking head, right? But I love Casey Neistat. I love Peter McKinnon. In fact, Brad McCallum, who's got a fantastic channel, he thanks Peter McKinnon regularly because he learned so much. And again, I did a talk yesterday. We did an event here in Austin yesterday. And part of what I was telling everyone is like, again, you don't need the big subscriber count. Just take little pieces. So watch those channels and take little pieces you can incorporate.
Yeah.
What's your next one?
Yeah, for sure. All right. The next one, just to kind of tie it all together, just be consistent. Just be consistent. I mean, look, I can hardly go a week without doing a video. It kills me not to do a video. Like I know that it's what like is the heart of my business and the leads that I get. I have to do videos. Like it's just become a part of my life. I don't think you guys will be blown away by me when you go and look at my videos. I'm not like, it's not all the most impressive stuff, but for some reason it resonates with however many people I need it to resonate a year, let's say 25, 30 people, and they buy houses with me. And that's all I need. So and that comes from just being consistent all the time.
So look, on consistency, you know, I say that you need to have one long form video a week. How many videos do you think you realistically need a week to grow your channel? And Raj is on here. Raj puts out, I think his goal was to put out 5 a week. I think he was doing 2 to 3. So what do you think what does consistency really look like?
I'm normally 1 a week. I mean, you know, I was editing my own stuff and so I would film and then whatever. I did very simple edits, like you were saying earlier, like lots of just cuts and in and out zooms and just as easy as I could do, but that still took some time. So I'm at 1 a week. It would be nice to do 2 a week, but to do the research, to remember all the stuff you just researched, then to either meet a videographer or go film it, and then for someone to, you know, you to edit or someone, I mean, it's a lot of work. I just don't have that energy in me. I mean, I'm 45, maybe I'm just getting tired or something, you know.
That's why you got an editor finally.
Yeah. I'm super excited, by the way. We posted really my first big video about Nashville. I've not really done anything on Nashville. And we were in downtown the other day and we did a whole video. This guy was chasing me around with a gimbal and everything. So I'm excited.
So so we got the 10 out. Let's get to some of the chat questions. First off, in the comments, if you are getting value out of this, drop a 1 in the chat. We're gonna do the Sharon Shavazza 1. Okay, good. All right. AZ Rad Realtor, man. I'm gonna be in Prescott soon. We got to go mountain biking. I'm gonna come out, bro. I used to live in Phoenix. I love Prescott. I love Sarah, by the way. I want to come see Sarah and film Solo Agent with them. That leads me talking about Solo Agent. The questions that
Dude,
they're
you got to make
asking.
the trip out. You got to make it out. I'll get you on Solo Agent, dude, for sure.
Okay. I used to go when I lived in Phoenix, we go to Flag all the time, and I'd always stop in Prescott. We would drive up and go mountain biking all the time in Prescott. We go out like behind Costco out there. It was fantastic. So I miss it. All right. So one of the questions, speaking of social and social agent, are you posting on everywhere or are you just focusing on YouTube?
I kind of put it everywhere. So
Okay.
like one of my strategies is with sharing my YouTube videos. So I also have a private Facebook group that I created for people moving to this area. And what I'll do is, Facebook doesn't like you to post a YouTube link directly in the post because you're taking them off the platform.
Say that one more time.
So Facebook doesn't like it when you post a link in a post, especially to like YouTube, because it's a competitor and it takes them off the platform.
Say it one more time. I'm just kidding. That is the biggest thing I tell agents, the biggest mistake that they make is I see it still in the YouTube mastermind group. People are like, hey, I started this YouTube channel. Check it out. Don't do that. If you want feedback on your video, upload the video into Facebook organically. Yep. Okay. So you have this Facebook group. And everyone should create a Facebook group about their area. Lauren probably has like 30,000, every single person in Dripping Springs in there right now. So except for me and Eileen, but we're coming in now. But Matt, so your Facebook group, what does that look like? And you're going to say not to put your links in there. So continue on that.
Yeah. So I do either two methods. In the group, I will upload it directly into Facebook, or I will do a post with the thumbnail uploaded and I'll put the link down in the comment below.
Yep.
And a lot of my content is like directed at people moving to Tennessee. So it's not really appropriate to put on my regular Facebook profile because that's all my friends that are here local. But the Facebook group, I've got, it's titled, y'all are probably going to laugh at me, Moving from California to Tennessee. And
I'm not laughing. I love it.
Yeah. I've got about 10,000 members in there and it's been really useful. I'll go in there and say, hey, what are the top 10 things you guys have learned for those of you that have moved to Tennessee? And they'll stop popping off. And then I'll be like, boom, there's my next video. I'll have my topics.
See, Marissa, if we made a group moving from California to Dallas or Austin, it'd be people in there telling your people not to move. So we got to be careful when we do that in Texas.
Yeah.
I love it. So I like that. And then when we talked about that, you said you're the manager of it, obviously. And you try to limit the realtors that are in there. That's great. Cause now you're fishing in a really big pond. And when you drop your videos in there, I kept getting kicked out of groups cause I would do the same thing, but post it in the comments. And the other realtors would get mad and flag it. So you gotta be careful when you're in those groups. Raj says, Matt, you had a video take off 3 weeks ago titled, I toured a Nashville barndominium, which is 5 times the views compared to your other videos. Why do you think this video took off, and any tactics you did in that video that worked well? My question is, when are you doing the next version of that video?
Yeah. So that was an experiment that worked. A barndominium. Do you know what barndominiums are, Jeremy? I'm sure.
Yeah. So it's like a house, but it's a barn, right? So you can put a bunch of stuff in it, house, all that good stuff.
Yeah. It's people are like intrigued by them. And my friend had a listing and it's a barndominium. And he's like, hey, man, that's one thing you start to see to happen too when you do this. Other agents will reach out to you and be like, hey, can I be on your channel and do a video with you? And and I don't care. I'm like, that's cool. Let's do it. So I think that a couple things about that video. barn dominium. So that topic clearly works. I think bringing on my friend who is kind of an expert in that kind of stuff, and he's a little bit quirky and different. I think having a second person, and I wanted to mention that earlier, that has helped me in several videos. I've done some tours where there's this girl that I'm friends with, Jamie, and she's a Allstate insurance rep. She reached out to me about being on a video, and I said, yeah, why don't we tour a neighborhood and you sit in the truck with me and we'll talk while we drive. And I can't tell you how many people are like, oh man, I saw that video where it was you and Jamie in Spring Hill. That was so cool. So that kind of takes like, it kind of creates a little more diversity in your channel. People, you're bringing in somebody else. There's another expert. So anyways, I'm getting off track here, but barn dominium's good. That's why that worked. And we just walked around with my DJI Pocket 3 and talked, and we were ourselves. So
the question then is, when are you going to make a Barnuminium 2 video?
As soon as possible. He actually has a house that he's calling it a timber frame.
Okay.
He doesn't even call it a log home. I said, dude, I don't know what that is, but let's go try it and do a video on it. So
one thing I think is really important for everyone to hear what he just said, and then what Raj's comment is, and why I'm saying, when are you doing the next one? And this is something that I think works really well. So number one, I've always said you need to have 4 buckets of content, right? So you have just a bucket of content and you put out. Now, Matt, we talked about how he's kind of trying to reorganize his channel so he can fit that 4 thing, right? But if he did it 3 weeks ago, this is where the agent in Dallas, I was like, hey, you're kind of messing up and muddying the waters. She had a video that come out and that did really well on new construction. And then she immediately did new construction, immediately do new construction, immediately did new construction. And then what happened? That first video crushed. And then every video, not as many views.
yeah.
So the rule of thumb here is, when you do a video that takes off, if you immediately try to do that same topic again, you're going to kill that video and kill the video you're trying to put out. So wait 3 or 4 weeks to put out your next video. That's why 4 buckets work, right? If you're doing 1 a month, so first week, second week, third week, fourth week, first week, second week, third week, fourth week. And see, I'm not going to edit that because I'm natural. So I can't say weeks very well. So really what you should do now is, now next week or the week after, shoot a Barnuminium video or a timber video, because you know that they do so well, and see how that does. If that becomes a bucket that's going to take off, now you do that every 4 weeks. You have a Barnuminium video, and there's people that are going to come in just for the Barnuminium videos. That's going to pump up the engagement. It's going to pump up the channel numbers, right? Because people are coming in just for that. And then you're hitting them with everything else. They might not care about everything else, but they're going to still watch all the Barnuminium videos. And that's getting YouTube to then send out, okay, let's find more people. This channel is taking off. People are seeing it. Let's find more. Let's find out where the people that are going to watch the other 3 videos, let's figure out where they are. Right. And so that's how you really, really grow a channel. You find that video that does really well for you, and you make that a pillar or a bucket.
I like that. I like that.
So a little help there. And that's like Raj, so Raj does a very specific type of content. So it's not like he has buckets, but he is broken down in funnels, right? So Raj has a funnel. I know, maybe, you know what, Raj, I don't want you to give away all your secrets. I won't give away your secrets, but he's got funnels of what he does, right? And so there are videos that are specific. And if you actually watch his content, you'll be like, okay, I get it now. And now I know where he went with this video and why this video is important, because maybe not a lot of people are watching this video, but it's going to lead to them watching this video. And that's what the Barnuminium does. So,
yeah. And I can be a little bit all over the place with my videos, but I mean, I probably need to sit down and kind of strategize and create those buckets. Like you said, that's a good idea.
I guarantee you, because the driving videos I would make, if I were you looking at your channel, I personally love, Aaron, I'll answer that question. I love the driving. I could watch that and listen to you. In fact, there's a guy, his name is The Uneducated Economist.
I love that dude. I love him.
I've had him on Real Migos, and I love what you said about having other people on. Well, we had him on. All he does is sit in front of a camera and talk. No edits, no nothing. but he talks about such valid information that people are staying in tune. So if I were you, I would continue to do your driving videos. I would figure out how to work in the barn dominium videos. If you're working on a specific area, I would have just a specific area video and then new construction tours. Or maybe that's the same thing as the first one, but figure out for you what the fourth is. I won't say what Raj's is, but Raj's work really well. Aaron, so the question is, what are buckets? So buckets are basically funnels, right? So if you're making a specific type, so you're moving to videos, what you must know about moving to X, this or that, right? Versus pros or cons. That's a bucket. So your first week is going to be about this. Second week is going to be pros and cons. Next is going to be about whatever. Lauren had one about the schools and Dripping Springs. If she wanted to take that into a bucket, she could take that into the high school and now the elementary and now this one, and then fun things the schools are doing. So make that an actual bucket of content if that bucket works out, because the reality is people moving to Dripping Springs, I can tell you 100% because I'm here, they are evacuating the AISD school districts. They're evacuating California school districts. They do not want that. And that's why they're coming to Dripping Springs, a majority of them. So I would talk about the things at the schools as a bucket. Now I'd continue that bucket if it works. So, but buckets are just the things that you're going to talk about. That way, it also helps. If you know next week is now your bucket on new construction, like I do, it's easier for me to go, okay, what do I need to talk about new construction? What's trending in new construction? What can I talk about? Is there an article about like for my next new construction, there was an article about Dallas, about new construction that was during the pandemic, like really bad construction quality. So I had an inspector meet me at a build. We walked a build talking about what to look for based on this article. Super simple, easy to record. So what are the questions you have for Matt before we bounce out? We got about 4 minutes left.
I saw somebody asked if I only use the Pocket 3 for.
Oh yeah.
Look, equipment can be like crazy. You can go down a rabbit hole with equipment and cameras and it can get out of control. Like, I mean, I've had GoPros, phones, I've got a Sony A7S III, I've got all sorts of stuff. I don't know what to say because I don't want to create, I feel like it can create a roadblock for you if you get too far into equipment. I don't know. I tell people if I was to start again, I'd probably just use like a GoPro or a phone and like a good audio setup. I feel like I've created, sometimes trying to figure out gimbals and stuff like that. It just, you make it a little more complicated than it needs to be. So I don't think I really answered that. I shoot on a bunch of different cameras. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, and it's good too to have multiple cameras if you're doing different shot angles, like set up like if you're, doing like walking tours, right? Or something like that, or like in an area. Aaron says you're keeping property tours on a separate channel or as a bucket. Raj, do you want to answer this one real quick?
Sure. Keeping property tours on a separate channel. I think it depends on what your core channel is. I think Jeremy and I talked about this previously, where if you're just starting out, it's a good idea to do all of the above as long as they're correlated with each other, like a community tour with a property tour the following week and then a market update. But like Jeremy says, don't call it a market update. When you see one of those buckets of content take off, like Matt and Jeremy are saying, lean in on that content. And if you find yourself posting videos about communities or market update and stuff like that, breaking news, and that's taking off, then throw the property tours on a separate channel if they're not doing well. So in other words, just double down on what's working and what's not working, separate and put it on a second channel.
100% agree. I think the biggest problem I had is nobody was watching my property tours compared to my other channel. And so that's why I moved them. But talking about communities and new construction, I can walk through a community, and as I'm walking through the community, walk through a home that is in the new community. That's not necessarily a property tour, it's just showing you what's there. Matt, do you use GoPro for drive? Oh, I want to answer this question real quick. YouTube, I think they meant short or long form videos. Oh, such a good topic. Oh, I love this one. Matt, YouTube shorts versus long form videos. What do you think?
Uh, I do my core videos are long form. I am experimenting with shorts. I don't know if it helps or hurts my channel. It worries me. I hear some people say, hey, shorts is going to bring in the wrong kind of viewer. So I'm a little bit unsure. I will say that I am experimenting with shorts in addition to my YouTube long form.
I could teach an entire class on YouTube shorts now. In fact, it's going to be a pillar in our coaching. Um, here's my prognosis, and I want to get Raj's take on this too. Shorts can absolutely hurt your channel if you're doing the wrong types of shorts. If it does not fit with the content, or it's not maybe a cut of your video, right? If you're cutting up a piece of video and you're putting it out there that drives somebody to see the long form content, the problem with short content, if you're just going to do short, it will not grow your channel and it does not build trust. That's why short form content on Instagram, it can do well, it can get interest, but it does not build trust, where people are calling Matt and they're going, Matt, you drove around this community. It was so great. I watched all 15 minutes of the video. It was so good. I loved it. Tell me about this. It's harder to build trust when you're doing short content. So your short content needs to be an additive to your long form content we're about to go over. So Marissa had asked a question earlier that I want to get to real quick. Where did it go? And that was about length and do I batch? What's a good a good video length for you, Matt? And why?
Okay, so here's how I pretty much answer that. I try to think about myself as a viewer, and this is the example I'll give. If I'm looking for a video about how to learn how to edit on Final Cut Pro, and I search, and I see 3 videos that are 4 minutes long, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, but I see one that's 15, I'm going to probably go with the 15 because it's, to me, I'm like, okay, the subject I'm trying to learn kind of matches, like I would expect to take that amount of time at least to learn something of significance. So typically I was shooting for like an 8 to 10 minute, whatever, something like that. Like I was trying to keep my YouTube videos over like 5 minutes. I mean, that was too short to me. I feel like it depends on what the content is about. And you kind of need to think, would somebody, I'm just trying to like think of an example. If someone's moving to Spring Hill, Tennessee, and there's 7 things you want to tell them, is it worth it for them? Like, would they spend 15 minutes on that? I don't know. Like, I try to think about it that way. I'm curious though, Jeremy, what your take is on that. I mean, if I could keep someone on for 30 minutes, I would, but I don't feel like I can at this point. So
I think so the question's a really good question. Number one, yes, I would batch content if you can. But you got to think about the buckets, right? Does it fit the channel, right? So whatever you're doing, does it fit the channel? And can you knock it out in a couple of days? I usually shoot on Tuesdays and have the videos come out Tuesdays. Personally, I think if you create a 15-minute video and people watch 7 to 8 minutes of that video, you did damn good.
yes.
Okay. So I would say if you're creating content, you want people to watch at minimum, when you go back and look at the analytics, 50%. You really want to get them to 60 to 70%, but it's okay if you don't get them there. Raj does 20, 25, 30-minute video walkthrough tours, and the retention rate, that's how long they watch the video, is usually probably about half, right, Raj? About half?
On a really good video. Yeah.
On a really good video.
Yeah.
But if he does a 20-minute video and people watch 8 minutes of a video, here's what happens. YouTube has time to then run ads, and YouTube is going to keep promoting your channel because they have time to run ads because people are watching the channel longer. So if what you're saying in your video, if you're in your videos, people are watching for 2 minutes out of a 10-minute video, then you need to go figure out what's happening around 2 minutes. Are you boring? Are you not giving good information? Are you not living on up to what the title was? What is it about in that 2 minutes that's crushing you that people aren't watching the rest? And that way you can change how you're delivering your content. I think this is really, really important because everybody asks me the same question. If you can get all the information out in 4 minutes and it's solid information that people may call you or reach out to you, get it done in 4 minutes. If you make it an 8-minute video and it should be a 4-minute video, well, that's why people are only watching 2 minutes, not 4. Okay. That makes sense? Write a 1 if that makes sense. Write 2 if you disagree. And I'm going to talk to you, see, afterwards, and you're going to be in detention. Okay, cool. Aaron said, are you adding your location when you ask for, are you adding your location when it's for kids before uploading? I wouldn't make it for kids at all. Kids are going to get you in trouble. YouTube's going to not put the video out there. It's for kids. It'll limit the comments. So if you have like your kids in the video, I used to have my son in the videos all the time. I had to stop because YouTube was just suppressing those videos. In fact, I think that's partly why my channel wasn't growing, is because I kept having my son in my video, because there's people out there that will take advantage of the fact that your kid's in there. They will post in private groups where to find which minute where your kid is in. It's not good. So don't have your kids on there, and don't make it for kids. There we go. Any final words, Matt?
You know, I just like all this stuff we're talking about. This takes a while, guys. Like there's some people on YouTube that get it and they're going to hit right away and they're going to get people watching over 50% of their videos. But like, I'm not, for me, it's taken me a while and it's been like a real slow burn, but like I'm reaping the benefits. So just like, we have all the time in the world, right? I mean, it doesn't mean you have to just come out and have your videos going viral right away. Just take your time with it and have fun with it. I mean, for most of us, it's going to take a long time to kind of get traction.
And you know, that's the interesting people, you know, when agents reach out and they go, "Hey, Jeremy, I want to do a YouTube channel." I'm like, "Awesome. Like you just started real estate. Like how soon are you wanting leads? Like tomorrow."
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, what have you heard about YouTube that makes you think you're going to lead tomorrow after you create a video? Where are you going to put that video? Now, here's the thing. I'm going to do a whole class on this if you want to, in the future, where to take your videos and where to optimize your videos after. Is that something you'd want to hear? Drop a 2 in the comments if you want to hear how to optimize your videos after you put them out. Okay, we'll do a whole thing on that.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
I got a whole plan for that. A lot of it's using Lofty, which is our CRM that we got here. Lofty is a beast of a machine in a good way. So I've been using that and optimizing my videos that way. So we'll do that next time. All right, everybody. Thank you so much, Matt. We'll see you all in the next one. I appreciate you coming. Again, it's going to be every Friday, okay, at 10 a.m. Maybe not next Friday because I may be skiing in Spokane, Washington after speaking in Spokane. So I appreciate you. I put a join or an information link in the chat right here if you're curious about Real Broker. Other than that, we will see you the next one. Thank you.